Anso Kamaru has tipped me $2. Says, well, I 100% agree. Dead Island 2 looks generic and open world with like drivel. It seems like you're contradictory on your use of public perception. If you like a game that's considered bad by public perception, like Callisto Protocol, you call everyone wrong and insult others. If a game has bad reviews that you're not interested in, you say reviewers are right and the game is bad. If a game gets raving reviews and a high public perception but you're not interested in it, you'll say reviewers and everyone are wrong. I think you should stop going on very condescending rants about games that you haven't played that end up hurting your brand perception. It's called having an opinion. Are you aware that in life you can have an opinion on something? So let me put this into perspective. some specifics, okay? First of all, you guys know I really like survival horror games, correct? You guys know that. You guys also know I'm a huge fan of Dead Space, correct? And you know that Callisto Protocol, which was the game made by the previous makers of Dead Space, was hyped and was covered and was coming out in January, right? Now, I was very hyped for this game because it's for the makers of original Dead Space, but it's a new outing. I'm excited for this. So what ends up happening is reviewers start coming out and reviewing the game. I take a look at their reviews and, you know, based on what they're saying, I deem that basically what they're saying is kind of unfair. All right? They're criticizing the game for things that Dead Space itself is known for and saying they're bad things. And I said, how much do you want to bet? There's some kind of an agenda here. That these people, number one, either aren't good enough to play this game and enjoy it because the game is tougher than most survival horror games and they suck at it, so they're pissy about it. Or number two, there's something going on where EA is coming out with Dead Space Remake in January while Callisto Protocol came out in December, and they want to hype up the one that's going to be beneficial for them to hype. So of course they're going to say the competitor isn't as good, so they can hype up the other one and say it's better, and that way they profit from it. So I called this out. I played Callisto Protocol. I do feel the reviewers were absolutely unfair to it. Now, there were some criticisms that I feel were valid. The game was not perfect. It had flaws. But it was not an awful game or a horribly inferior game like they were saying in their reviews. Exactly what I said was correct. These reviewers were not good enough to learn the new mechanics of the game and enjoy it because they just wanted to rush, run and gun through it like Dead Space. And it wasn't just them. Okay? It was other content creators as well. There were several high-profile content creators that turboed through this game, rushed through it, or quit it because they didn't want to play it and learn it. They wanted it to be just like all their other survival horror games. Sorry, it's not like Resident Evil 4. Sorry, it's not Dead Space. It's a different entity. And they didn't want to bother with that. To them, they didn't see enough positive benefit from it to learn it. Instead, they just wanted to say, fuck this, and create shock headlines. So-and-so rage quits game because they say it sucks. Oh, you see? So they feel like they benefited more from that than actually playing through the game. Okay? So I called it out for what it was. I played the game, and I enjoyed it very much. Did I love it? Well, it was good, but it definitely had some flaws and shortcomings, but it was still a great game, and way better than the reviewers gave it credit for. Okay? Then I played the Dead Space remake the month later, and what happens? It's literally Dead Space 1 with better graphics and a few tweaks. Still a great game, but it's Dead Space 1. All the reviewers, 10 out of 10, perfect experience. I said, this is exactly what I said was going to happen. Literally. Exactly what was going to happen. They were going to kiss this game's ass because it's what they're used to, and probably what they benefit from kissing their butt up. Kissing Callisto Protocol's butt didn't help them. Kissing Dead Space's butt with EA behind it, oh, that helps these media outlets hugely. You see? So, sorry, that's being honest. Now, I understand what Anso Kamara was saying, all right? But at the same time, all right, I am someone who is pulled in a million directions, all right? I am. Even though I don't even have a giant viewer base. I mean, arguably, how many people do I get on a stream? A few hundred? How many people watch my videos? A few hundred to maybe 1,000, right? Only for bigger playthroughs do I get thousands of people watching. All right? Let's be honest. I'm definitely not a popular guy anymore. I know that. But I also know that my viewer base that is dedicated to watching me appreciates my honesty and appreciates that I try to put my efforts towards projects and things that I know are going to be worth everyone's time. All right? People are still in this mindset that I am 2012 DSP. That I'm the guy who doesn't stream, who doesn't have a schedule that's busy, that instead I just sit around playing games offline all day. And I have time to play every new release coming out every week, and I can even play the shitty ones. And that way I can give you my honest opinion on all of them. That was the old formula of old school DSP. But old school DSP didn't interact with an audience, okay? Didn't get pulled in a million directions by said audience because I didn't listen to the audience. I just played whatever I wanted. And because of that, I skipped a ton of games that you guys were interested in. I very rarely went back and played retro games. I very rarely played anything but a main AAA release. And by the way, my playthroughs back then were very different than today. They were rushed. I skipped most side content. I was just going turbo through the story, finish the game within a few days, trade it in, get to the next game. And a lot of people very strongly criticized my gameplay back then, saying it was shitty. Okay? So today, being an interactive streamer and putting out more meaningful content where I take my time with the games, I can't just do what I used to do anymore. You understand that? All right? You're right. In the old days, I likely would have said, hey, all these reviewers are saying Dead Island 2 isn't very good. Let's play it together and judge for ourselves. And I would buy the game and I would play it. And I would say, wow, we played it 2 streams. That game's a piece of dog shit. It sucks ass. Let's slam it together publicly. And we would. And we'd laugh at how bad the game was, and it would make my worst games of the year countdown, right? Or, excuse me, most disappointing games of the year countdown, right? That was the old Phil. But that was many, many, many years ago. You understand? You know, because I've changed. I'm not that same guy. I don't know how people don't understand that I've changed. The moment that I became a full-time streamer that started making more meaningful content, interactive content for an audience that I care about, and I want to make sure that when you're watching my content, you're getting something good out of it. It's not just me ranting at a bad game and acting like an asshole. I changed from being that guy. You understand? So I can't play every shitty game. In fact, I would skip most shitty games or games that are commonly known to be shitty because I'd rather put out meaningfully good content for you. I'm not the angry game reviewer who screams at every bad game and puts that content out anymore. I changed for the better. And most people agree. But I understand that there's some people out there that are upset because they want to see me play all these new games and I'm not playing them, right? But we already had this discussion earlier in the week. Game developers need to start actually putting effort in and making more meaningful, better games now. It's not enough to just pump out a functional game. Now you have to pump out a meaningful game. And that's really the problem. Functional versus meaningful. Just because you made a functional game doesn't even need to exist. Dead Island 2. Tell me what space in gaming that's filling. How many of us have been screaming, we need an open world zombie killing game? This is a game that's 10 years outdated. 10 years outdated. This was supposed to be a game that would have been popular during the zombie craze of The Walking Dead. Who the fuck even talks about The Walking Dead in 2023? This is a bygone era of gaming. There's no reason even. It's like it's a fart in the wind. It's like, why are we talking about it? And then on top of that, it's apparently not very good. On top of all of that, you see. So I understand what you're saying, but again, when I'm being pulled into so many directions, when I have limited time because I'm a different kind of creator now, I have to pick and choose the best projects for my audience. I know that I'm going to get meaningful content out of a game like Oblivion. This is a playthrough where I learned the game on the fly from the live audience. People have helped me every step of the way. We have fun interactions, and people who've been there for those streams love it. Absolutely love it, right? Final Fantasy is a game near and dear to my heart. I grew up playing the classic Final Fantasies. This will be a series that will mean something to an audience, as opposed to, oh, Phil played Dead Island and mashed buttons and killed a bunch of zombies for 2 streams and swore at the game because it sucks. Ha ha ha. That's brainless, brain-melting drivel content. I'd much rather put out more meaningful shit. Seriously. So, sorry you don't understand that, but things change over time. Alright? And you might say, oh, it's hypocritical. Well, there's some cases where I have to listen to public opinion because I can't clone myself. I don't have money and time to play every game. Sorry. I wish I did. I wish that I could have more time and means. But no, the day that I became a full-time streamer, things changed. For the better, in my opinion. I think most people would agree. Look at my content since 2017 to now. Compare that with the old style content I used to put out, where I used to be the guy who played every shit game and ranted and raved about them all. Right? So, that's my take. If you disagree, you have your right to disagree, and that's fine. But you're not going to change my mind on a game that I have no interest in. I was half interested until people told us what it was. I said, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And that's nothing I'm interested in playing. I'm not wasting my time, your time, money, or anything like that when we could do anything else that's going to be more meaningful. Sorry.